my first impression is that the behaviors is if we executed at a 9 level at that, we would literally be the best company on it.
Okay.
That was my first impression.
Ok, quelqu'un d'autre veut faire un commentaire?
There's a gap. I mean, we feel there's a gap between what is being said here and what is happening in the world.
Yeah. If we execute,
So we don't do it.
Maybe it's a very big narrative of what we do instead of saying is what we aim at. So I agree it could be our vision and what we would like to be, but it's really like saying we already are like this. It could also seem maybe a bit pretentious somehow, because when we read that, we do everything perfectly. We are perfect. We are perfect.
We are not.
So
And when you insist on agility,
it's too much somehow.
agility, I think it's the point you should not insist on it, because Richemont is everything but not agility.
Okay.
So, agility and emotion. You talk about creativity and emotion. I think Richemont is not emotional at all.
C'est quoi si...
Very rational.
Yes,
Very rational.
rational.
Rational
And we can't declare that how
J'ai compris souvent.
It's exactly what I was in mind.
The list of the house, in LVMH they call it houses, and in Richemont we call it businesses. And you have the list of the brand, and
that's it. Okay.
And through that, I think this is the main point. You understand what is Richemont today if you compare to Kering or LVMH.
Or even L'Oréal, or even this kind of...
Alors, juste pour... J'entends parfaitement... And as an example, when we have a speech from our big executive committee, the first thing is that you've seen the financial results.
Oui.
Ok, alors, je vais me permettre, juste pardon. Je suis moi-même employée d'un...
Okay, let me just say a word. I'm an employee in a company, and yes, I understand what you're saying. It's very rational, and it's a bit rigid. It lacks emotion and so forth. I can understand that, but at the same time, a manifesto and this work of employer brands has to show the best profile and to make people want to join it and to yes, and they explained that we only say the truth. It says so maybe that's something say some things that are not exactly. He's speaking English. Yes, but my question is, says the moderator, what do you think? Well, you understand the idea is not to rewrite the whole document, but just I want to understand if you were to write this document, what would you want to say about your best Richemont profile? Is my question clear? Because there's some sort of ambiguity, because the passion and the emotion is generated by the houses, not by the Richemont. That's where there's a paradox. Yes, I agree, said another one. Yes, I agree. Richemont, as such, it's true that they want to position themselves in the environment, and all that. The others they find a segment that is complementary to their house. But if you compare Richemont to a house or going in that direction, I mean, no, it's a little bit. It's not truthful. It's not the truth. Okay, said Modelo. So if I understand, there's a fit between Richemont and a house, but not with the group. Well, yes, because this is the house's vocabulary. That's the vocabulary that we use in the houses, not the group. They're all speaking together. Sorry. And we should be considered as a group, a large group. It's not the holding layer that we're referring to, but the group as a whole. Yes. So that was my first question. So I'm thinking that it's not surprising that what you can see that is related to the product, the emotion, creativity, and all that should be more incarnated in what we see in the houses, more than what we see in the more corporate functions. Well, I disagree with you, because we can have a legal service or an accounting service which is a little bit creative. And yes, I agree, says the previous respondent. But, when you see someone like that, it's not always creativity, but sorry, they're speaking together. Anyway, the second comment that I had was that for a luxury house, there are some points that are common and clear for each of these values. And the big difficulty would be a way to say it in a differentiating way compared to what other houses could say. And, you know, carrying with the CSA maybe is one thing, but creativity, craftsmanship, and all that. I would, you know, a few months ago, I would have used exactly these words.
3 points in mind when I read that. The first one is that I felt clearly the balance between the tradition and the innovation and the modernity. That infused all the speech, and that's quite clear on that, so I think that's strength. The second point, I think it's too much. It's too much. Too perfect on the speech, on the wording that we use, etc. And on top of that, I think we can make it more easier to understand and mix different points between, especially in the behaviors. There are 6 behaviors, and to my mind, when I try to do the exercise, I think we can sum up in 3 behaviors. Because, for instance, for me, the we perform is almost the same as we care, the we explore is almost the same as we dare, and we trust is almost the same as we partner. So
are you okay with that?
Yeah. I think that we try to say too much, and at the end, the sense and the main message that you cannot deliver.
And the paragraph is not clear and not easy to understand.
On va revenir sur le détail. Là, j'avais besoin de l'impression globale des
Yeah, just last point, which is maybe for me the most significant. We speak about employer branding and corporate identity for employees and future employees, and never we speak about careers and career development.
And people.
And people development and how they can evolve within the group, the future jobs they can have, etc.
Even in reviews exceptional, we don't speak about people.
Yeah.
No, that surprised me a lot in the reviews
When I read
exceptional
that,
paragraph. We talk only about the products.
I didn't project myself within the group. Okay, in 3 years I can do that. I can go abroad or whatever.
Ok, donc si je comprends, si je résume. Donc on est trop une maison, on a l'impression qu'on parle plus des maisons que du groupe et on ne se retrouve pas en tant qu'employé du groupe. Ça manque d'émotion, ça manque d'humain, c'est pas différenciant.
Non, ça manque pas d'émotion. On parle d'émotion. We talk about emotion, but Richemont is not an emotional group at all.
Okay.
So it's not the truth.
Ok. Et t'as un côté prétentieux, c'était ça, je crois que c'est.
En fait, when you say you do everything, at the end,
we want
to talk about emotion, but with words which are a bit technical at times.
Yeah.
I mean, I felt, for example, we expand on our maison's history and savoir-faire. I mean, savoir-faire for me is more of an emotional term, but expand is technical.
Okay.
And another example would be craftsmanship is also for me an emotional term, but then we had in the same sentence to perfect the shopping experience. For me, that somehow there is emotion, there is rational, so
as we not be comfortable with the emotions, so we balance with something more exciting.
It's like a rational guy who tries to do a machine. Okay. And he did not succeed well.
And especially the verb.
Allez, je pense que ça peut m'intéresser ce que vous dites.
Non, en fait, je disais que c'était.
In English?
Sorry. It's not really differentiating from other groups, and I was thinking, and we were thinking and comparing with other luxury groups. And for instance, luxury Kering is really focused on the CSR, the responsibility sociale, environmental, etc., etc. That's one of the keywords for them, and that's clear. LVMH, they really insist on the tradition, craftsmanship, and the strength of the groups within the different divisions and the complementarity between fashion, wine and spirits, whatever. And here, when you read that,
the copy and paste of the maison. It's what
Yeah.
You don't find
the maison,
Richmond
Exactly.
inside.
C'est quoi là?
And I think there is also
Good question.
the term luxury. For me, I think when you think about LVMH or Kering, you directly go into, oh yeah, this is luxury. When you say Richmond, I mean, when you say a maison, yes, it's luxury. When you say Richmond, people don't know really what is inside Richmond. Then you say, oh yeah, because Chloe is Richmond. Oh really? Because, I don't know, another brand is Richmond. Oh, okay.
The main things we should start by the beginning is the way that behave the owner of the group, Mr. Arnaud and Mr. Pinault. They are really in front line. We can see them. First, we never see them.
Yeah.
So the group cannot be something very important if the main person is not ahead. So voilà, Richemont should remain what it is, Swiss, discreet, and we should develop value around that, but which are complementary from all the maison and stay behind the maison as it was before. Now I don't know.
That's why maisons are more important than Richmond, because you don't have this head.
Yes, but let's say the maison should remain more important than Richemont. The essence of the group is like that. And to change that, I think it will be a bit weird.
And as Richemont is very rational, it will not be very positive to communicate on it. If you compare to LVMH with Bernard Arnault, who visits all the boutiques every Saturday and Le Bon Marché, it's not the same. So maybe Richemont will have to be present, but to push the maison in the front line with emotion, with passion, with savoir-faire, with creativity, and with people. Est-ce que la volonté justement de mettre en avant ces maisons et de se dire toutes ces maisons ont ça, et donc pourquoi le groupe ne pourrait pas le porter et essayer de bouger justement un peu les lignes? Est-ce que c'est pas une bonne idée en soi?
In any case, I have the feeling while discussing that the issue is not so much the tagline itself, which when I think about it is exactly what Mr. Rupert says himself all the time. Think beyond today, DNA of the company, being pioneer, all this is what he keeps saying all the time. So I think the sentence are perfectly exactly the message of the group. Maybe it's the detail of the paragraph, in the way it's detailed, that it's not enough de-zoomed. I don't know how to say it, but it looks too much into the detail, which makes us think it looks more like a maison point of view. And maybe we should take more distance in the way we express these sentences, because the sentences themselves are the ones we hear all the time inside Richemont. Think beyond today, it's always, we even remember Emmanuel Perrin 2 weeks ago saying, don't do today something you will regret tomorrow. So we cannot say that we don't know this is what Richemont says. It's just, for me, the sentence are a bit too complicated.
Je propose qu'on travaille paragraphe par paragraphe et qu'on voit sur chacun de ces paragraphes comment on pourrait les retravailler. Oui, vous participez.
So what I personally like is the fact that there is a sense of end client in what is phrased here. And this is very maison. I totally get that. But when you work in Richemont as well, you work in the end because of the client. And I like the fact that it was included in the manifesto of who we are, that really the client is there. But if Richemont starts speaking about the client, it blurs the line between the maison.
Audrey, what do you mean with that?
Because very often it's somehow what Richemont is perceived somehow the way we next perceive. So we are accountants, we are jurists, we are all of the back office functions.
But complicated because of the maison, because of Richemont, it's not something fluid, it's not perceived like that, even by, especially I think by employees, even if people from Richemont have emotion, have the sense of the maison. It's not because of the people, it's because of the structure and the process.
Yeah, but what I liked about the manifesto is that it was switching a bit the vision, that actually Richemont is a group and it's a sum of all these maisons, and as a sum of the maisons, we are here for clients.
Okay.
And that's it.
Well, the
But, if I may, I'm not sure I would reduce it to this point because there is many employees within Richemont who are not part of the maison. And I think one reality is also that when you add up only all the maisons, then some people could feel, where am I now in all of this? So I think it's also important that we have this perspective of the Richemont function somewhere here in a somehow aspirational way. Maybe we are not there yet, but I think we need to get to this blend somehow.
Yeah, but it has to blend, and it has to go across both worlds.
Yes.
In a sense.
Yes.
But I like that the concept of saying this is just a group with some back office functions, some maison. It's a group.
Si on reprend donc,
Let's look again. And of course, I duly note your overall responses to this work. And of course, this work is already quite advanced. So the idea is not to change it entirely, but just to maybe add some comments and responses. So based on your comments, we will try to find a compromise to optimize this manifesto. And I suggest that we work paragraph by paragraph. It's going to be simpler. And we have the US, China, Switzerland. I'm sorry, I couldn't hear that. I'd like to remind you that we're working with members in different countries in order to be able to see to what extent the cultural differences and the country-based differences can influence this work and the language used. And we already saw in some groups that some terms are not appropriate or don't correspond to the culture because in that country it just doesn't fit. So if you feel anything about that, please don't hesitate to say. And I can see that the clock is ticking. Let's look at the first paragraph. And we will finish on time, don't worry. But let's work on this paragraph. What works? What doesn't work? And we're still in the manifesto.
Okay. What doesn't work, especially for me, I think it's a little bit more complex because that's a mix of everything. Because we speak about the tradition, we speak about image, and we speak about ethics and corporate responsibility, etc. So that's like a potpourri, and you put everything.
okay.
So the title was very promising, but what's inside, that's quite deceptive.
And you cannot say we do things because we believe they're right. We do things because we have financial issues. I mean, we're a compagnie financière Richemont. We cannot say that. I mean.
And I don't like the idea that there is always an opposition, like not because like we judge others, you know, like we compare to others who do wrong and we do right. This is really like, let's say what we do instead of criticizing what maybe others do.
I had the same reaction for a different reason.
Not really.
For me, the reaction was the same, but the reason was if you say everything is great except for those drapes, you're going to look at the drapes.
I agree. It's only of what you want. It is PNL, hein? You know, I don't know how you say it in English. Programmation neurolinguistique. Je sais pas comment ça se dit en anglais. It's when you mention something, you people think about what you're saying.
Neuro-linguistic
Yes.
programming.
I had noted down the same point. I think I'm not sure what you lose if you just scratch out the not,
Yeah.
the half sentences.
And expand on our Maison histories. Did you really get what it means? Because expand on our Maison history, I don't. Respect, treasure, maybe, but expand on. Is it really the right word?
It's
No.
too vague. It's too...
For me, I say that it's too technical.
It's safe, expand.
I think maybe
And history.
it's not to be trapped in a loop, like always using the same history. I think it's the idea that you've got heritage, but you're going beyond heritage, you're creating new heritage or new history, because for some luxury maison, it's something that you often see is that they are taking one part of history and very...
Maybe let's say continue building our
Yeah,
history.
exactly.
Build is already better.
We talk about beyond today, we talk about future, but when we read, it only refers to history, heritage. So we don't give perspective, a clear perspective on what is beyond today. Because we refer to the past. And
To never stand still. To never stand still.
Oui.
How could we maybe redo things? Could we separate the RSE ethics and the heritage part? Maybe we could separate these into 2 points to clarify things a little bit and to organize things. Maybe that's one thing we could do.
Same thing of thinking of tomorrow, at least we need to remove, we do things because we believe they are right. Because this in the middle creates confusion. Maybe we could keep that the future is building the future of the company and building it in the right way, with integrity, but I don't think we need 2 sentences to say the same.
Because
Yes.
it's
Say the same at the end of the day.
if we say.
But the word right is a little bit also...
I think you have to scratch that one.
Okay.
La dimension RSE, vous en avez parlé.
Spread it more often, you do the right things. So you can, that's not what bothers me.
It's interesting, but it's not an explanation of thinking beyond today. That's what I mean. I agree that it's important to do things right, but it's more first a value than a manifesto, in my opinion. And it's not the right explanation of the right title. I don't think it makes the purpose so clear. But,
Est-ce que le titre, vous le confirmez?
Should we keep the title? Is it inspirational?
On dit aspirationnel? Oui.
We think beyond today.
Long-term, like long-term value, long-term investment, and we see a lot of difference between the groups, and that's very financial, Do I take things on a short-term basis or a long-term view and value? That's, for me, how I would understand wishing beyond today, which is I wouldn't, I won't compromise like a future cash flow for today's cash flow or a future value for today's cash. And that's both financial now, but that's both financial and getting solid ground for the future.
What I have also understood that here there is an aspect of sustainability and good ethical business behavior. It's not, for me, it was a bit more than, okay, you invest in the right things so that you grow for the future. Yes, there's maybe also an aspect, but for me there was also the whole idea of sustainability, preserving the world, which should also be here.
So I think it's not clear if they want to speak about sustainability. It's not very clear. Okay.
Yeah, I think there is an issue regarding the sustainability and CSR, because for sure, for the new generation, the Y generation, etc., that's a key point now, and we have to speak about that. And I have the impression that we spoke about that because that's key for them, but actually, being part of the group, that sounds fake, because this is not a reality. For instance, I've never been involved in discussion regarding, I don't know, the drop of water consumption or the carbon reduction or whatever. So that's why I'm a little bit shocked as employee. Because there is
Alligator du Mississippi on your straps.
no, and I just compare with the groups that I was before, because I was at L'Oréal, and that's in the DNA, because in the work plant, water reduction, etc., there is a clear link. At LVMH, that's the same. They have the same kind of programs for the type of lasers that you use, or the partnership with the bees when you are at Guerlain, etc. There are many examples. And at Richemont, I don't have really this feeling that we implement many actions regarding that part.
Alors, just to say,
That's my
a
opinion,
little bit
but,
in the topic, it's just that we don't say about it.
We don't say.
Ça, c'est vraiment...
So
I started complaining too, so I started asking.
So if we don't speak about that, and
but we don't speak enough about it.
yeah, but if we decide not to claim and speak about that, why we put that on a red light like that?
Est-ce que vous avez d'autres commentaires? Je suis désolée, je voudrais qu'on puisse tout parcourir. Est-ce que vous avez d'autres commentaires sur ce paragraphe, ou est-ce qu'on peut passer au suivant? Qui nous dit mot consent? À juger vendu, on passe au second.
I just have a quick sort of general clarifying question. The intention of this is aspirational, right? This is what we would hope to be, as opposed to, this is a statement of who we are. Because I think we're arguing about the...
What do you think?
Then we're going to keep arguing.
The idea is to represent who we are and also a bit of who we want to be, because we're always not. But the idea is to represent Richemont and what we're saying here. For me, there are two different messages and two different ways of communication. One is the one for the employees, and another one is the one for the people who want to work within Richemont. And I think the way of telling things is not the same.
And that might be tragic, because...
Now you're...
I think people from Richemont here, you're very happy to join this. Non, mais en tout cas, ce point est très clair. Deuxième paragraphe. Il faut que j'en ai un qui se lance.
Alors là, il faut enlever shopping experience. Sorry guys, but en plus,
You didn't like it.
you can just remove it and say by blending craftsmanship and, I would say, innovation rather than technology. Virgule, our clients feel as much joy than it's good. You don't need to put to perfect shopping experience.
It's too limitative, I would say. It's not only the shopping experience, but the products, but the experience globally. And as well, we use digital to track the exceptional services. And digital is not enough. I mean, it's digital and people. And that's one part of one thing that was referred to before. We never speak of people in this manifesto, which is real to me. But we speak of digital, you know, like it's like there would be nobody working in this company. Like digital is doing everything. So
I think we are the less digital group.
For now. Also, I would remove deserve and replace by expect. Because I don't think it's about what people deserve or not. Because we feel a bit like being at church, reading the manifesto.
We will see after.
It's what clients expect. It's the level of expectation. That's what it is.
Are you okay?
Yeah.
But this paragraph is, this paragraph is very clear, and I mean, with Alibaba, with YNAP, with Watchfinder, we're very dynamic in this digital sector if you compare to Swatch Group or other groups. So I think this paragraph is really true.
Yeah.
Okay.
I actually also stumbled over the dessert, which for me was also, I don't know whether they deserve or
How
not.
can you judge?
A word that comes to my mind with clients would be to delight. That goes a bit beyond expectations and is for me more of a wow effect. But yeah, and then the digital. I mean, digital. What is it? Is it a mindset? Is it a technology? It needs to have some words still behind.
Okay.
Digital for me is more adjective.
D'autres remarques sur ce paragraphe?
Just from sort of a pure marketing kind of stance, I thought it was interesting to take the position that shopping is just as valuable as owning. You don't need to buy. Just come look. It'll be fantastic. And that just struck me as kind of, okay.
Just a question or a remark. We are pioneers of new possibilities. Maybe for me as a customer, we need more surprise and joy. Meaning that you can have joy with the same and ever the same thing. And the title is more about new possibilities, discoveries, and maybe there is an emotion that we want to drive in our customers, which is surprise as well. Like joyful surprise, but some kind of excitement and newness in the relationship. That's just a side remark. Because we are pioneers. Pioneer is the real strong word. It's not we're innovative or we are trying to get beyond the normal. Pioneer is you're the first one, and it's an endeavor. You're pioneering to go to Mars. You're not pioneering to go to a country you've never visited before.
Okay. Tout le monde est.
You share the opinion with.
So I like the idea of pioneers. That's what we explained just afterwards. Not really an illustration of it, I think.
I like also pioneers because it's, I think everybody understands what it means. You want to try new things, you want to be first.
But let's make it more wider than just digital.
Yeah.
Innovation, generally speaking, not only in the means but also in the product, in the research, helping in the people, a little bit more in the management.
Yeah.
We all agree the title now are good.
Yeah.
Just keep only the bold sentences and we're fine.
Yes. Just forget it.
But you could expand maybe the first sentences, and territory for me has a bit more to do with geographies. But it could be possibilities, it could be ideas, it could be, in general, new ways how to do things. So maybe that could be also still an idea.
Okay. D'autres commentaires? Je vous propose qu'on passe au troisième. Je vous propose surtout pour celui-ci qu'on commence par ce qui vous plaît.
What do you like? What do you like?
I like this one a lot.
The creativity, haute de maison, haute horlogerie, haute joaillerie, savoir-faire, métier d'art, it's perfect. Okay.
Yeah.
So love it, we just need all the people behind it.
Yeah. And ideas, they don't come from nowhere. So I like the idea that all ideas are valuable, but whose ideas are there our customers, whom we listen to, which would be a good thing, or is it our employees?
Or the watchmakers?
Yeah, that's one thing. What I maybe less liked was the idea that it's unique, one of a kind, which is very bespoke in my mind. And we're doing much more than bespoke. I don't know if... so that's the way to say that. But everything is about creativity as unique and one of kind. It's differentiated, but you can have many products as well in the same category or something like. So I was maybe a little more okay with the wording on this part. But I like the idea for sure.
Ok, j'aimerais bien entendre aussi Jean-Sébastien et Méline, que j'entends pas beaucoup.
No, I think it's right. This paragraph is fine. It's
Okay.
The best one. Really.
Et Méline, vous vouliez dire?
It's something that we have to put forward for Richemont.
No, I agree with all you have expressed.
But
No, I think the titles are right. As we had already the global meeting with our owner, I think he has emphasized on the ethic, on the integrity, on the evolution, on the joy, the pleasure to working. I think what we have to do, maybe at the very first step, is this cultural revolution. Yes, of course, Richemont was far away behind the old maisons, but now maybe we want to highlight the group. So that's why we want to do this manifesto. And have worked with other key players in the luxury. It's a great chance to belong to this magnifique group. So I think maybe it's useful to start with the very beginning, saying now we want to have lumière on these the lights on the group, and through that we could cascade on the values of what we want to highlight. And I think again we have the right values, but the explanation after are a little bit far away from the. So to join Sophie's remarks, that's why I didn't really add something, because we're online.
Yeah, just to add something about that. For me, this paragraph is not differentiating, because actually all luxury groups are exceptional. Hermès is exceptional, Saint Laurent is exceptional, Ferrari is exceptional, NC is exceptional. What is exceptional, this is not the group, that's the brands and the products. And so I do totally agree with Melina when she said that we should speak about high watchmaking, high jewelry, etc. So I know that the idea is to speak about Richemont and the umbrella about Richemont Group, but if we have one exception to do and to speak about brands and not about the groups, I think this is in this paragraph, because what is exceptional, that's not Richemont. That's the high jewelry of Cartier, that's the high watchmaking of Vacheron or whatever. So I would infuse few brands or few métiers or different nations speaking about that, because in that case that's too general. And you can say exceptional for all luxury brands.
Okay.
I agree with what you're saying, but again, I don't think we should consider that there's a maison on one side and a group on the other side. It's one single.
But I think that's the main problem.
But you keep on thinking that the maison on it. No, the maison are the group.
Maybe we can have, how do you say bienveillance in English? Bienveillance for me, it's a typical Richemont word. And if you speak about watchmakers, Vacheron Constantin watchmakers, they have wonderful ideas. They can do exceptional watches. So the beginning is the keepers, the watchfinders, the mood of the group, bienveillance, and it goes to exceptional products. So maybe we can just follow the line. Okay. On peut passer au suivant, vous avez d'autres remarques sur celui-ci?
Just to like when we speak of creativity for financial services or jurists maybe, as well there, I mean, like all ideas are worth like looking at or are valuable. That's where you've got maison, you've got brand, but you've got also what is done at the corporate level to implement good things, and the end would be in the product or in the relationship with the customer, but everybody is part of it.
Everybody.
I think it's also, disappointing to say that revealing the exceptional is not differentiating. We should find a way to make it differentiating. Reveal, come on, we do wonderful for, and maybe the content is not right, but it should be a differentiating point.
It's true that we have exceptional like other luxury groups, but could be differentiating is how we reveal the exceptional. And it's also the long-term view and the means and the bienveillance that we said, which allows to reveal. And sometimes in the paragraph, I think we don't explain enough how we do it. We don't give enough explanation, not to justify, but just to explain what we mean is revealing the exceptional.
On passe au dernier paragraphe, et encore une fois, je vous demande de commencer par le positif.
I think for the first time here we can feel the people, because when you say we put our heart, like there you can find the real passion, the people behind. So that's a good point.
That's true, because you have, when Annie explained about the Maison on one side and the Richemont, I think we have to think all together, and that helps joining everyone, because people from Richemont, they have the passion, even the jurists I was speaking, legal department, they have the passion, but they're just inside a process and an umbrella very strong. So if you give them the passion and the way to express it, I think we have the possibility to join the passion of the Maison and the passion of the people.
The common ground. With all of our patients, that the only paper that I felt was not as strong as the others. Passion should be in there, but we're proud of our patients. I think it's not as strong as we pioneers for new people.
We're passionate about our patients.
I don't know, patients
Because if you have patience, it's because you deserve it and because you're proud of it. So it's kind of
On peut changer ce qui caractérise the brands in general. From my experience, I often heard that we are always very passionate, the salespeople, the team, and it's really something which is fun. It's the engine for a brand to roll out. I think it's good to have it there. That's one.
And it's a differentiation point compared to the other, I think.
It's a bit less clear. It's a sentence which looks nice, but does not really mean something. Yes, exactly. Proud of our passion. Of course,
it's low-key without to be honest.
Because to be proud of something, you have to demonstrate something to be proud of it.
Okay.
But if you are passionate about something, you don't have to demonstrate it because you're already passionate. So for me, it's like a contreforce.
Maybe we share our passion, or something like that. We share our passion. Yeah.
Or we live our passion.
Shall we share passion?
We share with you.
We are passionate, ouais. C'est vrai que, ouais.
Proud of our passion then. You are not proud of your passion.
No,
Are you?
I have no problem with how that's written. At all. My only sort of question on this paragraph was the word empathy. I wasn't sure about that. And then I wasn't, so I lied when I said only, so there's 2 points. Our clients feel this through a personal and trustworthy relationship. That felt really weird to me. I didn't get that. We put our hearts into this every day and want our clients to feel this through a personal and trustworthy relationship. I don't know, it just felt a little transactional. I don't know why, that just didn't work for me. And empathy.
Les autres? D'accord.
With the comment? Yeah.
C'est dépend tous les.
Personally, I prefer to keep it brief as a word. I mean, I would say
What?
strong relationship. I mean, the words are not as strong as what the title. It doesn't mention passion.
So from the beginning, everybody's been saying it felt very mechanical and sort of technical, and this to me felt like that. Passion, but we have a collaborative relationship, right? I don't find that to be very passionate.
So it doesn't, you're saying it doesn't fit?
The long-term love.
You know,
For love to survive, sometimes it's a little bit passionate.
Tu peux me dire quel est le paragraphe qui lui correspond le...
C'est juste vous dire un peu sur le dernier paragraphe.
Bien sûr, pardon.
We change the word want, parce que we put our hearts into everyday and want our clients. I think it's a bit strong. I would say we share with our clients, we share this with our clients through a personal, or we wish, or we try to make our clients feel, want to sound good, want.
And maybe client is a little bit restrictive. We want to share a passion with our suppliers, with everyone.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not only client oriented.
This
With
might
our
be a good
colleague,
thing, right, colleagues, like to bring in the whole people.
Yeah. And that's only
So
collaboration.
this is transmitted in everything we do
Yeah.
to everybody.
To everyone.
Vous avez
Just for nice extra
paragraphe?
Well, that's a
For me,
really
this
good point.
paragraph is true, but it's a bit like I said previously, there's two emotions in one paragraph. It's heart, it's emotion, it's empathy, it's passion. Why only here talking about emotion? Maybe we have to dilute it, or talking about emotion and about people at another place. There is to concentrate, and it sounds a bit weird.
And from a general point of view, is it also a question of introducing this paragraph in other order, or do you think it's the right order, I don't know, to introduce a different paragraph? Est-ce que c'est il y a une question d'ordre, d'introduire les paragraphes dans un certain ordre? Or do you think it's the right order to introduce them?
Maybe is there one paragraph that stands out as really strong compared to the others?
We all really seem to enjoy the third one.
Exceptional. I think it's also because we are more used to it. So let's be careful also because we know this sentence, we've been knowing it for a while.
But it's not making Richemont different from the other. Exceptional, Hermès, Chanel, Breguet, they have all
It's
exceptions.
passionate, it's about
The people.
Directly, for me, it should be the last one to be the first.
I do agree with
The people first.
People first.
So you can attract them. And I think it's really true that if you want to sell luxury, you have to be all over passionate.
Maybe you can say people, sentence, people first. Because if you say LVMH, you will say money first. In Richemont, the people are it's a very important word. Est-ce que vous pouvez...
I have still a small comment. For me, we work endlessly. I also had a feeling, I'm not sure this is very attractive.
Endlessly but fully compliant with local labor laws.
Maybe another suggestion could be maybe another.
Stop sending emails because otherwise there is a problem. People feel harassed.
Maybe another suggestion I had was maybe relentlessly.
When Wi-Fi is working,
which doesn't have this timing component, but more the spirit.
Est-ce que je peux vous demander pour rebondir, de noter l'ordre des paragraphes dans lesquels vous les mettriez? On a bien compris qu'il y avait beaucoup de commentaires et de modifications et j'en prends bonne note. Mais voilà, quel est l'ordre que vous mettriez sur ces paragraphes?
No, I will not graduate or give a ranking to this fourth paragraph, but I insist on what I said in the introduction. Actually, I miss a fifth paragraph.
Yeah.
Because we're speaking about employer branding, so you speak to the employees and to the future employees. And I need a paragraph which is, we love you, we will develop you. Because never the group speaks to me that Richemont will take care of my career, that they will develop me, and that I will enjoy my life within the company.
It reduces the exceptional, like one-of-a-kind product, exceptional people. Right?
Yeah, but that's not so. That's not so powerful.
You can rank order and add number 5. On 5, can you do a rank order on the top? Oh, you're being nice, as one of the respondents. No, but really, seriously, Mathieu, I'm not joking. Please put it on your sheets, and I will add a point related to career. Says Mathieu, okay, yeah, do something for the. They say that we do things for our employees, but they don't say much about it. Now they're all speaking together.
Quite paternalist, a bit, compared maybe to the others, and it's the DNA of the group, so the people should be really put forward in the manifesto everywhere, because it's all related to people anyway, but can put the wording differently. Yeah.
So it would instill elements about people.
It's like that.
They're all speaking together, sorry.
Richemont is like that. You want to understand, to see what they're saying. I think it's something the last one should be we are pioneer of new possibilities, because it is something, it's of course we do our best to look for opportunities every day, but it's a common thing, and it's not the DNA of the luxury to go in every possibility. It's not true. We are very path which is very narrow in terms of product development, communication, distribution. So it's not, I think, something really.
Quelqu'un d'autre? Vous êtes tous d'accord?
They should emphasize that more, like the other groups do. Sebastian, I couldn't hear that. Could you repeat? And he's saying this in English. Can everyone tell me what is it for him? Of course, it's very personal. The paragraph that he or she finds most inspirational. I think that it's not about the paragraph, but the title. Well, okay. Paragraph or title. Yeah, that's what I meant. Which title appeals to you most?
We think long term.
We think very long term.
There are not two opportunities.
We come from the watchmaking industry, jewelry, so there is many elements that we should hear, and we will make the difference with Kering or LVMH, which are their own identity. But we are Swiss, so that's the point, and the honor is very.
We are on time. We're.
Est-ce que quelqu'un veut rajouter quelque chose sur ce manifeste?
Say more about what we want.
Anybody else? Do you think that anything crucial is missing in this manifesto? And I did note that you talk about the incarnation of humans. Sorry, they're all speaking together. It doesn't speak about the employee and their development. Yes, but what's missing is something more about the topic. Because this could be seen by the other, could be said by the other maison, so differentiation is lacking.